Mark had always been a trusting man. He believed in the goodness of people, especially those closest to him. His life in the quiet suburb had been predictable, even idyllic. He worked hard, loved his wife, Julia, and enjoyed weekend barbecues with their neighbor, Tom. Tom was more than just a neighbor. He was a friend, almost like family. It was a Friday afternoon when Mark left work early, a rare treat he had planned to surprise Julia with. As he pulled into the driveway, he noticed Tom's car parked unusually close to the house. A flicker of unease crossed his mind, but he brushed it aside. Maybe Tom was helping Julia with something, as he often did. Quietly entering the house, Mark was greeted by an unsettling silence. The usual hum of activity was absent. He walked through the hallway and up the stairs, his heart pounding inexplicably in his chest. The closer he got to the bedroom, the more his anxiety grew. The door to the bedroom was ajar. Mark pushed it open gently, and his world shattered. There, tangled in the sheets, were Julia and Tom. The shock froze him in place, a cold numbness spreading through his limbs. His mind raced, trying to grasp the scene before him. Julia's eyes met his, wide with horror. "Mark, it's not what it looks like," she stammered, struggling to cover herself. Tom, equally flustered, scrambled to find his clothes. Mark's voice was eerily calm. "Not what it looks like. Then what is it, Julia? Because it looks pretty clear to me." Tom tried to interject. "Mark, listen. We didn't mean for this to happen." But Mark wasn't listening. He felt a surge of anger and betrayal that he couldn't contain. "How long has this been going on?" he demanded. Julia's silence was answer enough. The betrayal cut deeper than he could have imagined. This was the woman he had loved, trusted, and planned to spend his life with. And Tom, the man he considered a friend, had been complicit in this treachery. Unable to stay in the house any longer, Mark turned and left, ignoring their pleas and apologies. He needed space to think, to process the devastation that had just unfolded. He wandered the streets, lost in his thoughts, the weight of betrayal pressing down on him. As the hours passed, the initial shock began to wear off, replaced by a resolve to move forward. Mark knew he couldn't change what had happened, but he could decide what to do next. He wouldn't let this betrayal define him. Returning home later that night, he found Julia sitting on the porch, her face streaked with tears. "Mark, please, let's talk about this," she pleaded. He looked at her, his heart heavy but resolute. "There's nothing left to say, Julia. You made your choice. Now I have to make mine." In the days that followed, Mark began the painful process of rebuilding his life. He sought solace in friends and family, leaning on them for support. The betrayal had been a harsh lesson, but it also gave him clarity. He deserved better, and he would find a way to move on, stronger and wiser. Betrayal across the fence had torn his world apart, but it also paved the way for a new beginning. Mark knew that, in time, he would heal, and he would be ready to embrace whatever the future held, with the knowledge that he had the strength to overcome even the deepest of wounds. Thank you for watching. Like and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe.